let's jump right in. So, hi, as some of you may know, I'm Mark the Lender Abramovich, and currently residing in Wellington, Florida. Yes, I started in real estate in 2005, and since then have analyzed thousands of projects and have completed over 120 real estate transactions. Now, this does not mean 121. It is more than that. Currently, I'm focused 100% on lending, and I am in business with my beautiful wife, Inga. And Mir's group is made up of us as well as my kids, but they're a little too young, as you guys can see. And I absolutely love showing my kids the world, and especially the real estate and investing world. One of the funniest stories I have about my older son is when we were driving to a store, a Lego store, and he's sitting in the back and he says, "Oh man." And I said, "What happened?" He goes, "I forgot my money at home." And I said, "Why do you need money?" He said, "Well, in case I want to buy something at the store." And I said, "How much were you going to bring?" And he says, "About 20 bucks." And I said, "Well, I can spot you 20 bucks. I can lend it to you, just pay me back when we get home." And, there's a pause until he says, "Interest free, right?" And I said, "Great. Things are settling in there." A friend of mine actually said, when I told him this story, he said, "I missed an opportunity to tell him that it's going to be 10 points. So, but I'm very glad that he's starting to get it. So with that being said, I've had a lot of people reach out to me over the years that I've been doing this and talk to me about unfortunate stories, right? I hear about the deals that went bad. I hear about loans that went bad. And there was a story a few months back. A friend of mine reached out to me and said, "Mark, what do you think about this?" And I said, "What happened?" He said, "Well, I had somebody reach out to me and he said, I knew that it was a scam, but I still went for it because I was so hoping it was going to be great." And I said, "Well, what happened?" He said, "Well, they were offering 5% interest, and all I needed to do was just send a little money. And in the end run, they took my money and disappeared." And so this prompted me to go on with a different subject for today, which is how to spot a shady solicitation. Because I have people reaching out to me on LinkedIn offering me money. And I have people reaching out here and there, and I hear these stories, right, of people asking, "Well, I had a lender reach out to me and they were offering this." Well, that's why I wanted to have this talk. So I have, over the years, people have reached out to me, and, I wanted to say, we all want the story to be true. We all want that offer to be truly that wonderful, right? 120% of the money you need for 3% interest. I mean, you just need to sign on the dotted line. We all want it. But as Ronald Reagan said, trust, but verify. So what I have here on my on the screen, hopefully, which you guys can see, is the latest solicitation that came to me. And I received this solicitation, and it's funny because JJ told me, "Hey, would you be interested in speaking? We have an opening." And I said, "Absolutely." And I have the subject. And I put this up, and what's funny is literally today, my son is looking at my computer screen. Again, my older son is looking at my computer screen as this is on there. And he said, "Dad, would you mind if I just put a space in here?" And I said, "No, because the whole point is I want the people to see all of the grammatical mistakes. So let's go through this this post, right? This is what somebody had as their description on their LinkedIn profile. And we're going to go through this, and I want you guys to hear just how awkward and off this sounds. So I'm a direct private lender lending money to interested borrowers who are in need of help, typically within 2 to 5 business days to get your loan amount approved and transferred to you. We give all kinds of loan, single-family residential houses and other real property, including commercial projects and private individual home loans. I blanked out the company name, but this company financial is professionals devote great importance to transfer specialist skills to plan, design, and manage community-funded interventions. Okay. Know the procedures for filing a trademark or patent and the protection it can take. No financial instruments. Be aware of the impact of future choices on economic and financial equilibrium. United States Head Branch Office. All credit score welcome. You can contact me directly for information. Email at gmail.com. And some of our offers, right? Energy project funding, oil and gas funding, mining, project funding, import and export funding, large-scale debt. I think all of us are trying to get away from large-scale debt funding, small balance funding, heavy equipment funding, commercial construction funding, real estate funding, project funding, more. So I at this point, I think all of you are pretty much laughing along with me. And after reading through this, right, I would like to bring to your attention, guys, some of the red flags in this post. Okay, now I blanked it out. I don't know if somebody has an issue with grammar, but to me, this just screamed wrong. First of all of the grammatic and the typos and the grammar mistakes. Okay, the commas without spaces after them. And this might sound petty, but you're dealing with a professional theoretically, right? And this is a statement of their credibility, right? That there's a period without a capital afterwards. Just the fact that they're calling themselves, that it's the name of this company, financial, is professionals devote great importance to transfer specialist skills to plan. I mean, if they're such professionals, right, shouldn't the grammar be right? Shouldn't it be correct? They're all over the place, right? Suddenly they're throwing in filing a trademark or patent, considering they're offering money to an investor, right, for a loan for a fix and flip. Huge red flag. It's a gmail.com email account, right? I mean, it's okay to have a Gmail account, but if you're a professional, direct, private lender, shouldn't you have a company and a company email to work with? All credit score are welcome. While there are some companies that do provide funding for lower credit scores, there's still some floor. It's not going to be typically all credit scores welcome, or there will be some kind of price tag attached to it. So I wanted to start just by showing you guys the kind of post that's out there. And it is just this kind of post that started my friend's adventure into losing $2,000. That's what it was in his case. The loan he was looking for was $200,000. He needed to advance 1%. And so he advanced 1%, which was $2,000. And then when they asked for an additional $6,700 just to finish the paperwork and get the loan all the way wired to his account, he said, I think this is a scam. I'm not putting any more money. So what should you look out for? What you should look out for is fees before closing. That's a big one. Typically with lenders, now some may have an application, but you want to clearly understand, what is the fee for? How much is it? What happens if you don't close on the loan? And not to mention, there should be some credibility to the lender as well, right? If they're a known company, you're comfortable with it, and they charge a $500 application fee just to not have to deal with the tire kickers, and they're saying, hey, that $500, if we don't close on this loan, will go towards the next loan. Okay, but this is a conversation to be had. How did they find you? If you're looking for a lender online, right? Or if you're looking for a lender and you find someone, it's one thing. But if someone is actively soliciting you, they're coming to you saying, hey, I'm a lender. First of all, they're not going to be private. Okay. As I like to tell people when they come up to me and they ask me, Mark, are you a private lender? And I laugh always and I say, how private can I be wearing a billboard? So I'm not. Private lenders are typically people who you know, right? They're your friends, they're your family, they're your acquaintances. It's a real example. I have clients, one of their private lenders is the owner of the local car dealership. That's their private lender, okay? Um, the local restaurant owner, the local deli owner, that's a private lender. And that private lender is typically not out there soliciting online saying, hey, you're an investor, I want to lend to you. Typos and grammar. As you guys just saw in that post, right, and that ad that I showed you, it's a big deal. All of us can make a mistake. Yes, I have typos and grammars occasionally as well, but not so heavily laden, right? It's going to be one mistake, hopefully just one in all of my paperwork, but it's not going to be so consistent as you guys saw. Changes in terms. You want to know upfront what you're getting into. Now, based on an appraisal or based on a credit report, can terms change? Absolutely. Yes, they can change, but you want to know that it would be based on due diligence, not just a surprise at the end. Not okay, we can do this loan, we can provide 80 or 90% of the purchase price, everything is fine. And when push comes to shove, well, we're going to have to do 75%. Oh, and we were saying that the interest rate can be as low as 8%, but that's 8% with 30 plus experience. And in your case, you've got two. Nope, the interest rate is going to be 11.5. Well, that information was available long before you actually went down the road of obtaining that loan. And here's the really big one, guys. All of you, and I mean all of you, have experience in life, okay? You have, on a daily basis, you deal with other people. You have real experience, even if it's not real estate. And so you have some intuition. And so if it's too good to be true, it is. Okay? This is what I want you guys to take away from this. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. That's the big one. Okay? If everybody is offering interest rates at a 10 to 12% for a fix and flip loan, and someone is telling you they'll do it for 3%, that's a huge red flag. If everybody is offering 80 to 90% of purchase, some companies, depending on if you have an income, will go up to 100%. They'll provide 100% of purchase, 100% of renovation, right? If you have a W-2 that you can show them, but they'll go up to 100%. If somebody's offering you everything, including the soft costs, including, everything you need, and you don't have to put any money into the deal, too good to be true. There has to be something. Either it's a scam or there's some kind of condition. Now it's possible, but you have to find out what is the condition for that kind of full financing. We deal with people whom we know, like, and trust. And I wanted to have a conversation, to add to this talk, a conversation. Now, JJ has brought this up meeting after meeting after meeting, and I wanted to tell you guys a story about it. JJ talks about knowing people and having a connection with them before you need something, before you need money from them. And so I wanted to tell you guys a story of a loan I did literally this week, so it was very appropriately timed. And this is in terms of red flags and what you should or shouldn't do in having a connection with someone before they need something from you. So I have a friend who's an investor, and he reached out to me and said, would you be interested in doing a loan? He's doing what's known as Airbnb Arbitrage. For those of you that don't know what Airbnb arbitrage is instead of buying a property and renting it out, you go to a homeowner and the homeowner retains the house, right? They keep the house. Now, what you offer them is a higher than normal regular monthly rent. So you'll sign a lease with them for the regular 12 months. And they're getting, because of the wear and tear, the additional wear and tear that's going to be incurred on the house, you're paying them a higher rent. Now, at the same time, so the homeowner is getting a higher rent, and you turn around and you start Airbnbing the property for the higher income that it brings in as a short-term rental via Airbnb. So you haven't had to buy the property. And what you're doing is you're renting it out Airbnb. You're the one taking care of the Airbnbing of the property, making sure that the maintenance is done and the property is clean. And the homeowner is getting a stable, regular rent. And you're keeping the spread between the higher income for Airbnb and the rent you're paying out to the owner of the house. Well, what you need is, in order to pay that rent, at least initially, right? What's a typical rent? When you sign a lease, what's typically necessary? First month's rent and a security deposit. Depending on how much you're paying, it could be a pretty hefty amount. And especially if you're doing it with multiple properties at the same time. So my friend reached out to me and said, Mark, I need a loan. Would you be interested? I have 4 properties I'm trying to sign up right now before 4th of July. I would like to get this going on, and I've got the owners ready to sign, but I need to pay them the rent. And would you be interested? And I said, yeah, send me your numbers, right? I'll take a look at it. It's not something I typically do, but I know you, right? Show me your numbers. And he did. He sent me the numbers for the last 10 months, and they've already got bookings for the next 2 months. So the cash flow coming is going to be significantly more than the expenses they're going to have, and even the additional payment for my loan. Okay? So as I looked at the numbers, it made sense. Now, I'm in business with my wife, as I mentioned. And so she and I were looking at this deal and looking at the numbers and deciding if we should do it. And we were discussing the fact of what's the security, and there is none. The security is, of course, there's a personal guarantee, and yes, we can lien. We can collect the payments that his business will collect, right? The cash flow that's coming into the business, we can actually lien on that. But as we discussed it, we said realistically, it's difficult to collect. So essentially, what are we secured by? And we realized that the security is we either trust this person or we don't. Now, this is someone that's been at my house. I have been at their house. And in the end run, we did the loan. But I knew them long before they came to me and said, hey, can we do this? Now, what's interesting is we've actually ventured together before. That venture did not pan out. It wasn't a flop. It wasn't anybody's fault. It was just we were busy with other things. So we tried something. It didn't work out. We parted ways happy and moved on to other endeavors. And now we had an opportunity to work together again. And we said, yes, let's do it. My point is that while, as you guys saw in that post, somebody came to me, a complete stranger, and dropped this horrendous offer, basically this horrendous presentation of who and what they are, right, to me, versus someone I already knew who was coming to me, offering me an opportunity to work together where I could trust them. And so that's what I would like to impart on you guys. That if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. And have a relationship with people so that long before you need to do business with them, so that when they're coming to you or when you come to them, there's an established trust and some background that can help you navigate what you do.